Well, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the news hub here at Desawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank, Nero Prime Water.
Coming up, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the DVLA, defends the registration of Voxy vehicles as it confirms they passed mechanical tests.
And also coming up tonight, 9 bodies retrieved as search continues for remaining 7 passengers after a boat carrying 16 people capsized on the Volta Lake.
And later in the bulletin, Ghana sees 12-fold increase in human trafficking in 2025 with over 1,200 cases compared with 95 in 2024.
In business news, economists urges Ghana to prioritize industrial and agricultural growth to create sustainable jobs and tackle rising youth unemployment.
On the international front, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders his cabinet to begin direct negotiations with Lebanon. We're live around the world on 3news.com. We are also streaming on YouTube and on Facebook, and we always love to hear from you.
We begin on a rather sad note as 9 bodies have been retrieved as the search continues for the remaining 7 passengers after a boat carrying 16 people capsized on the Volta Lake. The victims were reportedly traveling from Pran in the Bono East region to the central Gonja district of the Savannah region. Let's speak to Salisu Bearube, is the Savannah Regional Minister. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, can you provide an update on the search efforts? It's been a day since this incident happened.
Yes, like you indicated in your headline, the passengers were traveling from the Prang area to cross to a community called Congo in the central Gonja district. And these were people who were migrating from the Bono East region to the Savannah region. And unfortunately for them, the passengers got drawn in a flying boat. It's a lightweight boat which is always used, and it has a higher level of speed on the river. Unfortunately, again, the information that we have received is that none of them actually was wearing a life jacket. And the 9 bodies have been retrieved by the joint operations of the security and local people who were able to dive and retrieve the bodies and some of the items they were carrying. It is quite a sad issue, and the constituency and district where this boat capsized is actually around the East Gonja district. But their destination was to a community called Congo in the central Gonja district, from the information available to us.
Now, that's not the first time that people have drowned on the Volta Lake. And as you did indicate, none of them was wearing a life jacket. Going forward, what are you going to do to ensure that no one drowns on the Volta Lake? Because next year, we do not want to carry a story of this nature again.
That is appropriately true. I will liaise with my other colleague sector agencies, ministers and agencies, so that we put a strong team at all times on the riverbanks, especially where they always load passengers, to ensure that the boats carrying the people are licensed to operate, and they have requisite gear to carry load or passengers. If indeed you are a boat and you don't have that kind of license and you don't have the life jacket in your boat or canoe, you will not be permitted to carry. At the same time, we also make provision of life jackets by the security agencies and our task force to ensure that anybody who is actually boarding a boat wears a life jacket. We also advise people who are using the boats to always insist on wearing a life jacket, because there is a tendency, and it's always common, that people would even take the life jacket and freely will be holding it in their hands without wearing it when they are even in the middle of the river. And that is also something that attitudinally we must conscientize our people to be using the life jackets. Many are free to always go on it because they've been crossing the river at all times. In fact, in some of our communities, you cannot access those communities either in or out without going through the water. And because of the fact that they've been used to it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We've been speaking to the Savannah Regional Minister on this unfortunate development.
Go to the seat of government. Government has announced measures to cushion Ghanaians following increased fuel prices caused by the Middle East disturbances. An emergency cabinet meeting has decided the suspension of some taxes and margins in fuel price build-up to last 4 weeks, renewable after review. Government spokesperson Felix Kwachi Ofosu announced this on Thursday after the president chaired the emergency cabinet session.
So the first directive that Cabinet has issued is that the finance and energy ministers should take immediate steps to reduce the price of fuel through the removal of some taxes and margins on fuel, effective the next pricing window, which is about a week from today. And this is supposed to be done as soon as possible. Second, the transport minister has also been instructed to ensure the expedited deployment of newly acquired Metro Mass buses. You recall that over the weekend I announced the arrival of 100 Metro Mass buses. Another batch of 100 buses are expected in August, and then the last batch of 100 are expected in November to make up 300. But currently we have 100 available, and the transport minister has been instructed by cabinet to ensure expedited deployment of these buses in high traffic corridors to ensure that it alleviates any difficulties that may have arisen out of the recent fuel price increases. The transport minister has also been charged with ensuring that these Metro Mass buses, in addition to the existing ones, charge or maintain transport fares which are lower than what private sector operators charge. And this is to ensure that Ghanaians are cushioned, especially when we reach peak periods at the rush hour. In addition to this, the president took the opportunity at the cabinet meeting to remind all ministers and senior government officials and appointees to adhere strictly to his ban on fuel allowances and the allocation of fuel. And this applies to all ministers and senior government officials. Let me indicate that the reduction or removal of some taxes and margins, as I've indicated, which should lead to a reduction in fuel prices, effective the next pricing window, is supposed to last for an initial period of 4 weeks from the next pricing window. After the 4 weeks, the situation will be reviewed, and as and when it is deemed necessary, appropriate actions will be taken. So these are the major decisions taken at today's emergency cabinet session on fuel.
In more news tonight, leadership of the Voxy Drivers Association has threatened to challenge the proposed ban on the use of vehicles for long-distance commercial travel in court if the Road Safety Authority decides to implement the Technical Working Committee's report. Members of the association say the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority conducted safety inspections on the vehicles before approving them for commercial use. Joseph Armstrong and Yolanda Malm filed this report.
The National Road Safety Authority on Wednesday, April 8, received a committee report requesting a ban on the use of Toyota Voxy vehicles for commercial transport. The move has sparked mixed reactions among drivers and commuters alike. Some drivers say the problem is not the vehicle, but rather road conditions and the issuance of driver's licenses to unqualified individuals. They are calling on the National Road Safety Authority, instead of imposing the ban, to work with the DVLA to ensure licenses are issued only to qualified drivers, while also improving road conditions across the country.
How many of these Voxy vehicles do you have in this particular yard?
It's almost 250.
250 of these vehicles?
Yes. I heard it yesterday.
How do you receive this news?
Oh, I heard it, but it's too bad for us.
We come to this car, okay, and how we should go about it. I would like the National Road Safety, their committees and their agencies, there should be an intensive training. Let me say that we all check up on the drivers.
Before they give the cars to
drivers, and they don't have station, and they drive just anyhow.
Just anyhow.
This is one of the major factors that the accident is increasing haphazardly.
The leadership of the association has threatened to challenge the proposed ban in court.
Don't go and then sit in your one corner and then come and say, oh, we are banning Toyota Voxy. It doesn't work like that. So we are throwing this warning to the MD of National Road Safety, Lawyer Amariba, that issue rethink about the decision that they took. We are not going to sit aloof for them to come and then intimidate us on our own soil. So they should be rest assured. The commercial transport operators are coming. In fact, we are coming in full force to make sure that their demand of banning road safety becomes null and void in this country. We had 207, we had VIP buses involving themselves in accident. We had V8s. There was a point we even had Ford. Did they call for a ban of those cars? We are using legal means. We are using force. And then the third one that I can't add it, but we are assuring them that they can never go away with this ban on Toyota Voxy.
But the executive director of the National Road Safety Authority, Abraham Mamaleba, says the authority will study the committee's report and respond within the next 2 weeks.
Looks like we have quite a battle ahead. Meanwhile, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the DVLA, says Voxy vehicles, unlike other vehicles, were registered after passing mechanical tests. Responding to concerns from the National Road Safety Authority, the DVLA's Public Relations Officer, Stephen Atu, stressed that commercial registration does not automatically permit long-distance operations. Beatrice Soa has more in this report.
SARA's Technical Working Group has flagged unlawful conversions from right-hand to left-hand drive. Yet, the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority insist Voxy models meet mechanical standards, hence their registration.
DVLA registers Voxy just as any vehicle. We have the private vehicle testing stations that we call PVTS. They are private. We license them to operate. We have a supervisory role over them. So such a vehicle will have to go to them for them to test it and then attach a test report that passes the vehicle for it to be registered by DVLA. They will go ahead for the registration. If the testing process confirms that at the time of testing there's no problem with the vehicle, DVLA cannot refuse the registration.
DVLA's Public Relations Officer, Stephen Atu, reiterated that registering a vehicle for commercial use does not grant nationwide access.
The registration for commercial allows you to charge a commercial fare to pick passenger and take payment or reward for it. That is what it means. So that distinctions need to be put in place so that giving you a yellow license plate is not a license that you can use it for commercial purposes on a long distance journey.
A mechanic explained that owners often modify tires to suit local road conditions.
Fine car, but long distance. Because of that, tire was different.
It's a fine car, but it wasn't made for them to use for long distance journey. The tires of the car are usually changed by the mechanics who use them for long journeys, and most of the drivers are not experienced in handling the Voxy.
A driver with 24 years experience admitted to using Voxy vehicles for long journeys, saying he has faced no challenges.
I'm driving from Eribu to Aflao, and I'm a back.
It's been a year since I started using this car for long journeys, and I haven't encountered any challenges or problems. I drive from Elubo to Aflao and to Tema. When it comes to the steering, it normally at the right side, but it's changed to the left side, and it doesn't have any effect on the car.
DVLA says plans are underway to separate commercial vehicles permitted for long distance travel from those restricted to intra-city operations.
In more news tonight, consumer-focused organizations want government to establish a system of continuous market surveillance to prevent unjustified price increases before they become widespread. From transport fares to cement and sachet water, consumers are increasingly questioning whether these adjustments are always warranted. Grace Hamwa Ajaman has more.
In recent years, Ghana's markets have experienced a pattern of price hikes, often introduced simultaneously across sectors. The irony is that these same commodities in recent cases are not reduced even when economic conditions improve. The renewed call comes after the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers, NASWAPAP, decided to maintain current prices following a meeting with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry.
Considering the fact that sachet water is a basic necessity for over 33 million Ghanaians, yes, we are losing money if we go back to the old price, but then for the fact that we love Ghana and Ghana must thrive, we've decided to absorb the shock and keep the old prices for at least a month or two.
Both consumers and sachet water vendors say the decision brings some stability.
People might not buy it, or they'll complain. People will complain about it. So I think the price is okay.
I think the government decision on this is genuine because I see no reason why we should sell sachet water with 1 cedi in this country, whereby the water, we get the water from this, our own land here. Maybe the rubber that might think that might come from somewhere, but looking at it, I think that it's unfair to increase the sachet water.
West African Regional Director of CATS International, Adamaku Kusi Apia, says whereas the decision is welcome, government must pass the business competitive law to prevent unjustified price hikes.
I think we need laws because when businesses are not competing, when businesses go for a meeting and say, let's increase our prices, that is a conspiracy against consumers. So I think that we need to get a law. It goes beyond having the law. Its full implementation is the way forward because Ghana has lots of laws that are not being implemented. So we don't just want to add another law to our statutes, but a law that will be fully implemented so that consumers will be protected against bad practices of some business.
Players in the sector agree that further engagement is key to resolving challenges and protecting consumers from being shortchanged.
With the Ghana Meteorological Agency warning of heavy downpours this year, fears are already growing over the risk to life and property in flood-prone communities. Stanley Nibleu was in some of these communities and has been reacting or finding out from some of the population living in and around these areas.
Residents in flood-prone areas are living in fear as the peak rainy season approaches. At Abofu, a suburb of Achimota and Accra, homes situated close to the Odo storm drain are already reeling from the devastating impact of the rains. Sections of the drain caved in years ago, destroying several concrete structures that once served as homes. The current administration awarded a contract to construction firm Jason Limited to reconstruct the damaged portions, but the project has stalled due to lack of funds. Residents say recent volumes of water from upstream continue to inundate the area, often gushing into nearby homes.
And we have a lot of sand in the middle, so the water doesn't flow like it has to flow. So the water forces itself to pass strange places. In our house, the pipes that link the water to the gutter rather brings in water into the house. So the house gets full of water. And then you will see the guys, we are fetching the water and trying to get it out. So it's a lot of problem.
Many buildings remain vulnerable with their foundations weakened by persistent erosion from heavy runoff.
The situation is very tense and is very bad when it's rain heavily. It goes into people's houses left and right. It is even getting worse. Look at this project, the Chosen Rehab. You can see they are laying their wall. And when you take a look where that guy is standing over there, there were structures there. It was the rain that destroyed all those structures. Take a look at the other side on your left. You can see we are really suffering.
Afi, a long-time resident, is also concerned about the stalled project. At White Cross in the Wejabawe municipality, many homes still have stagnant flood water in their compounds. Ernestina and her family live in one such home. The only way to access their room is through a neighbor's compound. She says they have not considered relocating, despite water frequently entering their rooms.
We are used to it. Sometimes we used to walk in it. Times we pack our things and move to different places. But first we used to stay in the next house, and now the owner of the house is in. So when it rains like this, we sleep in it like that. We do everything in it,
Other adjoining homes are facing similar challenges. The Wejabawe Municipal Assembly and the National Disaster Management Organization have begun engaging vulnerable households to vacate areas at risk of flooding from spillage of the Weja Dam. With heavy rains forecast this year, authorities and residents are being urged to take precautionary measures to protect lives and property. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, Ghana's fight against human trafficking has taken a turn of urgency after authorities revealed a staggering rise in cases. The Anti-Human Trafficking Unit says reported cases jumped from 95 in 2024 to over 1,202 in 2025, a more than 12-fold increase in a single year. And behind that surge is a disturbing trend, scammers using the name of legitimate businesses to lure unsuspecting victims. Deborah Abamensa has more.
The numbers are alarming. In 2025 alone, Ghana's Anti-Human Trafficking Unit recorded 1,202 cases of human trafficking, up from 95 in the previous year, 2024. Authorities say a key driver of the surge is a sophisticated business scam where perpetrators hide behind the identity of legitimate organizations to deceive innocent people, promising jobs, opportunities, and a better life before trapping them in trafficking networks. William Ayariga is the head of Anti-Human Trafficking Unit at the Ghana Police CID.
Last year, the number of victims rescued increased exponentially as a result of this QNet-related trafficking. Let me emphasize, QNet is not illegitimate business. It's a legitimate, but we have unscrupulous people using KillNet to traffic unsuspected victims to West African countries.
Prosecution of offenders is already underway, with a number of perpetrators having faced trial and currently serving jail terms.
Last year, the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit of the Ghana Police Service successfully prosecuted quite a number of cases, but 8 of the cases were successfully prosecuted, and 8 individuals were convicted for human trafficking, and the sentences ranges between 5 to 27 years imprisonment. Let me take this opportunity to warn out the perpetrators that they can run, but they can't hide. Very soon, the long arm of the law will catch up with them.
At a high-level meeting of heads of faith-based organizations in partnership with the International Justice Mission, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, urged religious institutions to take ownership of child protection within their communities.
All the major religions cherish and value children, be it Islam, be it Christianity, or be it traditional religion. And it is on that score that we are all calling on all of them to come on board to help prevent child labor and child trafficking, and to be in partnership with those all other religions to reintegrate all the victims of those children who go into those things back into the society.
Minister revealed that government will incorporate child protection units into the performance assessment framework of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, the MMDAs. Advocates are warning that announcement must translate into action, because for every number of that statistic, there is a child whose future hangs in the balance.
You're watching News360 on TV3. Business, sports and entertainment are all coming up after this break. Do stay with us.
I love President Charcoal.
Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
That's both charcoal and lemon.
Oh, does it?
Yes, look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles. For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal. Pepsodent.
Good evening. Welcome to the business segment on News 360. I am Menu Aful. Economist Professor Peter Korte has noted that while Ghana's economy is showing signs of a takeoff due to improved macroeconomic stability, government must be more selective about which sectors drive that growth. According to recent data from the Ghana Statistical Service, the Ghanaian economy recorded a total growth of 7.5% in January 2026, driven largely by a surging services sector despite slowdowns in other areas.
Speaking on the country's recent economic performance, Professor Korte argued that the current growth is a natural result of stabilizing key macro fundamentals. However, he warned that growth for its own sake is insufficient if it does not address the pressing issue of youth unemployment.
With the relative stability we have seen, I believe the economy is beginning to take off. The parameters are right, the macro fundamentals are right for us to take off. What we have to guard is the sectors that are growing. You find that most of that is the services sector. There's not high value services. We are churning out a lot of young people from tertiary institutions, etc. And we are not providing the jobs.
Services sector accelerated to 9.6% growth, up from 7.6% in 2025, fueled by gains in trade, finance and communications. Industry growth slowed to 7.2%, down from 9.7% the previous year, primarily due to reduced oil and gas activity. Agriculture's momentum slowed significantly, dropping from 9.3% in 2025 to 4.5%.
It is agric and industry or manufacturing that employs a greater proportion of the Ghanaian population. It's exciting, it's good to see a higher growth rate, but we have to look at the sectors that we want to grow, not any sector at all. There are some sectors we want them to grow faster than other sectors.
While the overall economy remains on an upward trajectory, the composition of that growth continues to shift heavily towards services as agriculture and industry face a cooling period.
Away from that, Government of Ghana is returning to the domestic market on Friday, April 10, with an ambitious target to raise 7.57 billion cedis through its weekly treasury bill auction. Now, this upcoming auction is being closely watched by market analysts as it follows 3 consecutive undersubscriptions.
The sudden shortfall in bids has broken an impressive streak of 11 straight weeks of oversubscription recorded earlier this year, signaling a potential shift in investor sentiment or a tightening of market liquidity. The Bank of Ghana will conduct the auction for government across the standard 3 tenors of 91-day, 182-day and 364-day bills. The 7.57 billion cedis target is considered aggressive, especially as government seeks to cover maturing debts and finance its fiscal requirements amid a cooling demand for short-term paper. Earlier in the year, declining inflation, which reached 5.4% by late 2025, had fueled a robust easing cycle, encouraging investors to lock in yields. However, the recent undersubscriptions suggest that government may need to offer more competitive rates to attract the necessary capital. The outcome of the auction will serve as a litmus test for the domestic market's appetite for sovereign debt. If government fails to meet its 7.57 billion cedis target again, it may face increased pressure to raise interest rates or explore alternative funding avenues to bridge the financing gap. Institutional investors, particularly domestic banks, remain the primary participants in this segment. Their bidding behavior will reveal whether the recent dip in demand was a temporary market correction or the beginning of a more cautious trend in Ghana's fixed income landscape.
Let's now look at what's happening on the forex and commodities markets. And that's it for News 360. I'm Menu. Aful Sports News is up next. Stay with us.
individual training. Medical examinations have reportedly confirmed the setback with the indications that the injury could require surgery. As a result, the 25-year-old is expected to miss the remainder of the season for Tottenham Hotspur, raising serious concerns over his availability for Ghana's World Cup campaign, which begins in June. Now, here's a timeline of his heartbreak for Ghana. He got injured against Sunderland early January. He's since been out for 97 days, missed 16 games for club and 2 for the Black Stars, was set to return after the March international break. However, he got a fresh injury, and Kudus is the only player to have scored a brace in Ghana's World Cup history. Well, we do wish speedy recovery to Mohamed Kudus. However, let's move on to boxing, where ahead of Friday night's boxing showdown dubbed The Rise Continues, an initiative put together by Legacy Rise Promotions, the official weigh-in is currently happening in Osu, and my colleague Bileshen is live on the ground to bring us up to speed with the happenings.
Right, so I am standing here with Abu Kamoko, popularly known as the ambitious Tilapia. Of course, he has come here to witness the weigh-in for the Legacy Fight Night. The Rise Continues, which of course will be happening on Friday. But Abu Kamoko is right here. Abu Kamoko, right there.
Wow.
Good evening to you. First off, I mean, an event as big as this, I mean, for someone as big as you, people would think that you'll be part of it, you'll actually be fighting. I mean, what has happened? Why are you not part of it?
Yeah, you know, I'm part. Yeah, I'm part of it. But you know, I was supposed to fight Prince Kamadi. I was supposed to fight him, but unfortunately I was sick. So my boss asked me to choose myself and fight on the next promotion. So I'm here to witness the way. At the same time, they give me 20 to win this fight. If he win, I'll come inside the ring and challenge him. It's not like I'm darking or running away from him. You know, as a sportsman, you need to think about your head first. So I was seeing, not that I'm darking for him or I was seeing, so now I'm well prepared. So I believe our next promotion, I will fight him on the promotion.
So you're talking about fighting Prince in the future.
Yeah.
Do you think Prince will win this bout?
Oh, I don't know that he will win, but the two of them, they are all my good friends. So I'm wishing all them the best.
Right. And who else are you most anticipating or most eager to see in this particular fight night?
So first, I will tell him to lie Sharif Way. Yes. These 3 people. And Kelvin Carter. These 4 people. I'm here to support them.
All right. Right there.
Obado.
Right there.
Yeah, Obado. And I want to dedicate this message to Freezy Magboes. Wherever you are, Freezy, you always call my name. And you know me, I'm ready for you. I don't fear you. Get ready for me. Freezy, you like boxing too much. Boxing, you get it, but you don't get the techniques. You know you can't beat me. Right there. Obado, you, Freezy, I'll whoop your ass. You think boxing be macho? Get ready for me. Don't be mad. But still, you two get ready. I'm coming for revenge.
Wow, Abu Kamoko just threw a challenge to Freezy Magboes. Freezy Magboes, of course, recently, a few months ago, lost to Jonathan Worldwide Tete. He's throwing a challenge to Freezy. Freezy has already signed a contract with Jonathan. So are you trying to say that when Freezy is done fighting Jonathan, he should come to you?
I know Freezy cannot beat Worldwide. Surely Worldwide will beat him. If 10 times Worldwide will beat him. So after he lose, me Tilapia, I also face him and beat him. And he will tell me that boxing is not for him, it's for we. And Freezy is get ready. We are going to retire him in boxing.
Wow. Thank you very much. Right there.
Obado.
Right there.
Obado.
Thank you very much. Wow, so you from the horse's own mouth, he's inviting Freezy Magboes after his upcoming bout with Jonathan Tete. That will be happening on August. So we'll see what happens in the next few months. But
well, that was my colleague Bileshen coming live from Osu for the weigh-in ahead of The Rise Continues. Remember that the bouts on Friday night will be live here on TV3. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, some make us a papadia to a mammy man for Kale Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is home, a man is swing, and a sans of Mamma Hotel so a will beg you.
Donko. Now, acclaimed Ghanaian music producer Jam Master J has tipped Kojo Black as the clear favorite for the Best New Artist Award at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards, describing the category as having no real contest. Now, speaking on the afternoon show, JMJ downplayed the competition, citing Kojo Black's exceptional talent and broad appeal.
I don't see a competition there. One, two, the skill and the talent Kojo Black has. For me, it's, let's not even discuss it. The key word here is promising. A lot of them come once and then they disappear. But the promising fact is the fact that he got the hit song. He's able to even write for other people. He makes jam. He's featured on other stuff, super hit jams. What do you want to see again? At a point, he could have even been part of the artist of the year.
Adding his voice to the conversation, entertainment journalist Adam Mensah echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing Kojo Black's consistency and strong run within the year under review.
Kojo Black, I mean, he's ticked all the boxes.
According to him, while some emerging artists struggle to sustain momentum after an initial breakthrough, Kojo Black has managed to remain visible and relevant.
It will be difficult for you to match Kojo Black to any of them in terms of achievement within the calendar year because he's been very consistent. Look at the collaborations he's done. He's done with Sarkodie, Kelvin Boy, Olive the Boy. He's done with Kiddy. So many collaborations. He has a lot of big songs. Now, if you look at all the artists in this category, it's like he's the only artist who has about 7 nominations.
I need to know what you did.
Beyond the numbers, industry watchers say Kojo Black's rise reflects a combination of consistency, originality, and cross-market appeal, qualities that align strongly with the TGMA's definition of a Best New Artist, which recognizes the most promising emerging act with the highest audience appeal and a breakthrough body of work within the year under review.
Only you bad of it, my chest. Your back asset. You know they play my chumba rest. Me see my jolly.
And now it's a story. Celebrated Ghanaian songstress and Telecel Ghana Music Awards Artist of the Year nominee Wendy Shea has stirred conversation online after confidently declaring herself the winner of this year's topmost award category. In a post shared on her X page on Thursday, April 9, 2026, the Rough Town Records signee expressed strong belief in her chances, writing that she is aware many people already see her as the eventful winner. I know everyone is aware this year's TGMA Artist of the Year is me. Thanks to Ghana, Shea Gang, media personalities and all artists showing me love and advocating for me to win, she stated. Now, beyond expressing gratitude, Wendy Shea also made a passionate appeal to various fan bases across the industry to rally behind her. Wendy Shea is competing in a highly competitive Artist of the Year category at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards, going head-to-head with some of the industry's biggest names. These include Black Sheriff, Medical, Stoneboy, Sarkodie, and gospel powerhouse Diana Hamilton. For the entertainment news segment here on News 360, my name is Noella Donko.
On the international front, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered his cabinet to begin direct negotiations with Lebanon, as Iran says Israeli attacks blatantly violate the ceasefire. Netanyahu says the negotiations will focus on disarming Hezbollah and establishing peaceful relations between Israel and Lebanon.
And that's it for the package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. There is more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.